Today we are going back to basics with être and avoir, to be and to have, a completely essential basic. You will use être and avoir in most of your sentences, and they are also the base for quite a few other tenses, the compound tenses. Knowing how to conjugate the verbs être and avoir is such an important building block in your learning journey. Are you ready? So welcome here, leave your day behind, and let's go. Let's learn some French. Bonjour and welcome to French avec Ingrid, where I help you improve your French in small and easy steps. You may remember that we talked about how to conjugate verbs ending in ER in a previous episode, which I'm linking here. Verbs ending in ER are forming the most common verb group. Verbs in ER are regular verbs, so one verb in ER will conjugate in exactly the same way as all the other verbs in ER. If you've not yet seen this episode, do go back to it. It is such a great quick win in learning a lot of French in a small amount of effort. Être et avoir, to be and to have, are the two single most commonly used verbs in the French language. You will absolutely use them in the majority of the sentences you put together. They are also used as auxiliary verbs in compound tenses, les temps composés. Unfortunately, être and avoir are irregular verbs, so their conjugation is a little trickier than other verbs. And because they are often learned together and at the same time, a lot of people end up mixing them up and finding using être and avoir a lot trickier than it needs to be. The bottom line, though, is that they are so important that they need to become second nature to you. So let's see how we can help with that. Okay, let's conjugate them in the present tense. Remember I said they were irregular, so unlike verbs in ER, we can't simply apply the rule of a subject pronoun plus the verb stem plus the usual ending E, ES, E, ONS, EZ, ENT. In fact, quite far from it. Être goes like this. Je suis, I am, tu es, you are, il ou elle est, he, she is, nous sommes, we are, vous êtes, you are, ils ou elles sont, they are. Aside from the ending nt with the last subject pronoun, the conjugation bears very little resemblance to a regular verb. So let's try this with avoir, to have. J'ai, I have, tu as, you have, il ou elle a, he, she has, nous avons, we have, vous avez, you have, ils ou elles ont, they have. Okay, a little bit more in common with the verbs in ER with the verb avoir, but still fairly irregular. Now, are you part of these people who find it difficult to tell them apart or tend to mix them up in some way? Let's find a few tricks to help with that. First of all, maybe remember that avoir, to have, start with an A. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Then if you've seen the video about E, the letter E, you may remember that E accent circonflexe, the E with the little hat, actually denotes that the old form of the word used to be spelled ES, like we can still see in the word la forêt, the forest. So let's relook at the conjugation of the verb être, E accent circonflexe TRE, with this in mind. Je suis, S, tu es, ES, il est, EST, nous sommes, S, vous êtes, the E with the little hat is back, ils sont, S, je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. So really the only confusion that might remain is with ils sont, they are, and ils ont, they have. And I agree, to a foreign ear, it might really lead to confusion. Given that we now have the S linked with être because of the E accent circonflexe, ils sont, starting with an S, is they are, to be. When we say ils ont, to have, we're doing a liaison. Ils sont, they are, ils ont, they have. You can listen to a beginner's guide to liaison, which I link here. The liaison is the S at the end of il, they, which is directly followed in the next word by ONT. The S liaison is pronounced z. Ils ont. And just to ring-fence this a little bit further, how about looking at the conjugation within a little storyline? It's a little bit of a visual aide-mémoire, linking a sound with an image, with a story. And it can be really helpful to stop mixing up the two forms of the verbs. So imagine this scene of two people talking at a wedding at the back of the church. Je suis inquiète. Tu es sûr qu'il vient? Il est rarement en retard. I'm worried. Are you sure he's coming? He's rarely late. Cut to the person arriving with their partner, a little bit sweaty, clearly a little bit late. Nous sommes heureux de vous voir, mais vous êtes en retard. Ils sont déjà mariés. Nous sommes heureux de vous voir. We are happy to see you. Mais vous êtes en retard, but you are late. Ils sont déjà mariés. They are already wedded. Je suis inquiète. Tu es sûr. Il est rarement. Nous sommes heureux. Vous êtes en retard. Ils sont déjà mariés. And now let's do the same with the verb avoir, to have. This time, why don't you picture 3 people in a car? And it's the driver speaking. Ok, j'ai l'adresse. I have the address. Tu as la carte? Do you have the map? Alain, derrière, a la réservation du Airbnb. Alain has the reservation for the Airbnb. Nous avons chacun une chambre. We all have our own bedroom. Vous avez la plus grande. You have the biggest one. Ils ont aussi une belle piscine là où on va. They also have a nice swimming pool where we're going. J'ai, I have, j'ai l'adresse. Tu as, you have, tu as la carte. Alain a, he has. Alain a la réservation. Nous avons, we have, nous avons une chambre. Vous avez, you have, vous avez la plus grande. Ils ont, they have, ils ont une belle piscine là où on va. Don't hesitate to create your own storyline around this conjugation. Create your own mnemonic that will work for you. Give it a go. These mnemonics are so powerful at helping you learn and also retain new information. To finish, I'd like to point out a few expressions where the French and the English disagree on which verb to use. J'ai faim, I'm hungry. J'ai soif, I'm thirsty. J'ai chaud, I'm hot. J'ai froid, I'm cold. J'ai 20 ans, I am 20. In English, we would use to be for those expressions. To be hungry, to be thirsty, to be hot, to be cold, to be 20 years old. And let's add to these a couple more expressions. Avoir raison, to be right. J'ai raison. Avoir de la chance, to be lucky. To have luck. J'ai de la chance. Now that we know how to conjugate these two verbs, let's see how they work as auxiliary verbs, verb auxiliaire. We're only going to talk briefly about the compound tense passé composé here, so you have a quick overview of how it works, how it is composed. I will do a full video on this tense in my verb series as it deserves a little bit more time. Le passé composé is composed of part 1, a subject pronoun, and the auxiliary verb in the present. That would be je suis, tu es, il est, etc. or j'ai, tu as, il a, etc. And part 2, the main verb in its past participle form. So to construct a past participle, for verbs in ER, remove the infinitive ending ER and replace it with E accent aigu, et, participer, to take part, participer et accent aigu, j'ai participé. For verbs in IR, remove the infinitive ending IR and replace it with I. Partir, to leave, parti, I. Je suis parti. For verbs in RE, remove the infinitive ending in RE and replace it with you. Attendre, to wait. Attendu, j'ai attendu. I waited. Je suis parti. I left. J'ai parlé. I spoke. But when do you use être, to be, or avoir as your auxiliary verb? I hear you ask. Most verbs will actually use the auxiliary verb avoir. J'ai mangé. I ate. J'ai parlé. I spoke. J'ai attendu. I waited. And there are two main cases when être will be used instead of avoir. One, être is used with all reflective verbs, the verbs I call oneself verbs. S'habiller, to get dressed or to dress oneself. Je me suis habillé. Se coucher, to go to bed or to put oneself to bed. Je me suis couché. And two, être is used as an auxiliary verb with verbs that are intransitive and denote a movement. Intransitive means that the verb doesn't take a direct object, and that means we're going a little bit deep in grammatical terms. But to put simply, think of whether you can add what at the end of your sentence. If you can't, then your verb is intransitive. If you can, then your verb is transitive. So for instance, je suis rentré, I came back home. You wouldn't be able to say I came back home what to turn this into a question. Je suis rentré quoi? But consider il a pris, he took. You would there be able to say he took what? Il a pris quoi? Prendre is a transitive verb. Rentrer is an intransitive verb. And as such, you would say j'ai pris and je suis rentré. There you go. I hope this video has given you tools to never again mix être and avoir, and also given you a little bit of an overview of what an auxiliary verb does and how it works. More videos to follow to cover compound tenses, the past participle, and auxiliary verbs in depth. And as we have only spoken English in this video, I will do as I usually do and leave for those of you who crave a little bit more French, a little something extra in French. I am once again leaving you with a link to a song, this time by Jacques Brel, a Belgian composer and singer. This artist who was so intensely and uniquely expressive when he was singing his amazing songs. It is called Vesoul, the name of a city in eastern France. And most lines of the lyrics actually use the passé composé with the verb être or avoir. So a perfect accompanying piece to today's topic. I have found an amazing link with all the lyrics both in French and in English as an overlay, so it makes listening to this song completely accessible to you all. One quick note to help you understand the lyrics. You'll hear a repetition of the term t'as voulu. T'as voulu, this is a spoken language abbreviation for tu as voulu, you wanted. T'as voulu, tu as voulu, you wanted. The link will be in the description. I hope you enjoy and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.